Thanks, Andrew, and thanks for having me today. So basically, I don't need to say anything. It's all here. You can see my speaker notes. I can go now. But that usually happens with me. Me and technology, we don't quite agree. I'm sure we can figure that out. So my name is Pia. I'm Chief Brand Officer of a creative agency called 10 Days. And I'm a Gen Alpha expert, I would say. I've been focusing on generational research for a couple of years now, 6 or 7 years. It really started when I authored a trend report about Generation Z a couple of years ago, because we had a lot of brands and companies coming to us, what's the next topic, the next generation, what do we need to focus on? It was really, what's the future like? That's how it started. So I've been following the rise of Gen Alpha for the last couple of years. What I'm presenting to you today here is very much based on quantitative research studies from Australia, US, and Europe. It's based on extensive desk research in the last couple of years, but also on qualitative interviews. And I'm lucky enough to have 2 Gen Alpha examples set at home. My son is 8, my daughter is 11. And I'm fascinated by their insights and what they do every day. Obviously, not saying that with any bias or so, but really looking at their wider friendship circle as well and understanding that a little bit better. So, yes.
Do you want to just hold on one? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
We might just, it might be easier for you if we just kind of wait a minute for
yeah.
the AV guest to then,
Oop.
There's a bit talk amongst themselves. These things sometimes happen. Obviously, it wouldn't be happening for the next generation.
Nope.
My generation, obviously, most of your generation, perhaps the younger ones, rarely. Gen Alpha, there.
There we go. Wow. Fantastic. And I've got the clicker. I've got the clicker. I found that.
Pia, thank you. Back to you.
Next one. Yes. Fantastic. So, a couple of facts. So, Gen Alpha is 15 years old, the oldest ones this year, and they're still being born now. So, they're predicted to be the largest generation on the planet quite soon. They're more culturally and ethnically diverse, but they're also more aware of it. And they're going to have a longer life as well, because they're more preventative with their health. We have a better understanding of our bodies and how to take care of them. And their parents are millennials, and also Generation Z is starting to have babies. So that's interesting. So the oldest ones are 15 years old. When are they going to enter the workforce? That's probably in a couple of years. So in about 5 years' time, they're thinking about where they want to work. They're probably starting to study at that time, apprenticeships, internships. So we have about 5 years to engage them as an employer brand. So those were the facts. I always say, if I summarize Generation Alpha, they're social, global, and mobile. They will work, study, and travel between different countries and multiple careers. They were born when Instagram was launched. They were born when the first generation iPad came out. So they're used to technology. They're used to social media throughout their life. The first truly digital generation, but with key insights of what happened to Generation Z. And I get to that in a minute. They're more global. They get global insights from the internet. My tweens at home, they watch YouTube regularly. And the other day, my son had a friend over, and they were talking, and both of them, I know for a fact, have never been to America before, and they said, I really want to go to Target. Yeah, Target seems great. And Walmart even better. And I was like, how do you know Target and Walmart? How do you know these brands? Well, YouTube, Ninja Kids. It's a very famous YouTube channel, quite educational, quite fun. 25 million followers, I've since found out. Yeah, and that's why they talk about global stories from a country they've never visited but are keen to go. They're more mobile, they're more flexible. Travel is cheaper. They probably have traveled with their millennial parents a little bit more. So this is when I summarize it, what I think we can expect. But also, they're going to be the most educated generation on the planet. So 90% of Gen Alphas are going to finish high school, apparently, and 50% are going to gain a university degree. But also, they have very short attention spans. Get a Gen Alpha kid to finish a book from front to back. It's a real challenge, I can tell you that. But they're learning differently. It's different. They thrive in these multimodal, hands-on, and engaging environments. And the oldest ones of Generation Alpha have obviously been educated during COVID as well. So they're used to Google Classroom, they're used to Zoom meetings, and this is a great example of Apple. Apple is inviting Generation Alpha in already. So you can book these sessions for free in any Apple store. This is the store in Knightsbridge, and it's a coding session. Where you can book for up to 10 kids, and they give you a free coding session. Everyone gets an iPad, and the kids can go and experience the app that Apple has also developed. There were 2 guys from Apple there that were absolutely fantastic, engaging the girls, telling them what they can do, even showing them how artificial reality works on this app as well. So fantastic example of a brand inviting Gen Alpha in and educating them on their devices. What was not so good was that after the session, all the kids wanted their own iPad. So yeah, that didn't go down so well. But then, yeah, as I said, I speak to Gen Alpha regularly, and these are 3 girls, 11 years old, Liv, Alma, and Medei, and I filmed them last week, basically. I wanted to know, what do you want to do when you leave school? And obviously, we were very careful, because Gen Alpha is also very careful online. Don't show our faces. Yeah, so that's why they're looking down. It's intentional. But so what do they want to do? What are their ambitions?
Yeah. Study. I don't think I'm going to go for a bachelor's.
What's that?
So you've got bachelor's, master's, and then PhD. Yeah. I think I'm going to do master's.
Yeah, maybe. You?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, highly ambitious, I can say. But then I asked, okay, so you're going to study. So what do you want to study? And this I was really surprised by.
Yes, science, like the functioning of the mind.
Okay.
And then science, the functioning of the mind, math, and I don't know what else. You?
Me, science, math, and engineering.
Oh, yeah.
Me, art, math, sports.
So, yeah, STEM, huge focus. We have a lot of STEM-focused toys. Math has become fun all of a sudden. Basically, there's a lot of new apps that you can use to learn math and to make math more fun. So, and that is having an impact on the next generation. And these were 3 girls that were playing with Barbie half an hour before they told me they all want to go into science. So I thought that was really interesting. So the 5 key topics that I wanted to explore today were the ones that I looked at when I did my trend report about Generation Z, really. So Generation Z were digital pioneers. They were really let loose online, and a lot of learnings have been taken of the dangers of letting teenagers have their own social media accounts. I mean, Instagram has now introduced more security about their accounts. There's Instagram teen accounts, and Generation Alpha is learning from the mistakes that have happened with Generation Z. They were really mental health pioneers as well, so wellness and health is very important to them. They're more activist in everything that they do. I mean, they asked for the diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, and they pushed them through. And also sustainability activists. We all know Greta Thunberg as well. So they really fought for these policies, and they fought to be heard, and they're still doing that. And purpose, company purpose, brand purpose, very important for them. I just spoke to 2 Generation Z girls, 26-year-olds, last week, because they were just on the journey to getting their first job. And I said, how are you finding it? We're finding it really challenging. It's a tough market out there, but we're willing to work hard for it. And I said, what's important to you when you look for your employer, when you work for the brand that you want to work for? I mean, they said values. Do they value me? Am I going to be valued as an employer there? But also, what values does this company represent? And do they practice what they preach? And this is something, even if it's tough out there, they're not going to give up on. So I've looked at these topics also for Generation Alpha. And they're true digital natives. As I said, they were born when Instagram was launched, the first iPad came out. I mean, it's very common to see a Gen Alpha kid and walk up to the screen and do this. To the TV screen, so they feel that everything is a touch screen. But basically, they're digital natives. Apparently, an 8-year-old today surpasses their parents in technical knowledge. I can say that's true as well, because for Christmas, we bought both of our kids an Alexa. It took my husband and me a day to figure out how to set that all up. The day after, they had discovered some features that I didn't even know existed. So very true, 8-year-olds surpass us, me in technology, that's for sure. But also they're more focused on positivity. And I think this comes from the focus on mental health with Generation Z. They want positive storytelling. They focus on their stress levels. Stress is a topic that's already very common in teenagers today. They expect sustainable solutions to just be there. And they're diversity experts as well, I would say. That is just normal to them. And purpose has become something which is more relevant focused. Is this relevant to me? I know I want to do good in my life. How does this brand and company support that? And I've looked into all of these topics in a little bit more detail. So, as I said, they're very tech savvy, they're digital natives, they just pick it up very quickly. It comes natural to them. But they're also aware of the limitations of a life online. So as I mentioned, Instagram teen accounts, more control over social media. They're very aware that WhatsApp groups are dangerous when they're young. They're aware of the age limitations of the social media apps. A lot of schools are banning mobile phones now because secondary schools, because kids get a first phone probably with 10, 11 years old. And they're aware of that. And they're taking that on, and they're careful. They play a lot of games online. Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite are the games that they play. But these are games for building something, creating something. And you can also socialize on them. But they socialize with the friends, with the people that they know offline. So they really know to differentiate between real world and virtual world as well. Real experiences are back. We're already quite back with Generation Z, but continue to be interesting to Generation Alpha. For instance, Generation Alpha loves to go to the cinema. Cinema is really back, and also seeing the latest release movie. And they're listening to podcasts. They're starting to be interested in podcasts as well. So very interesting topic also here today, I think. Digital future, Generation Alpha. So this is my son, Jax, 8 years old, as I said. So I asked him, so what do you like to do when you are allowed to be online, basically? Well, he watches this channel Ninja Kids, which was created by 2 parents in 2017, has now 25 million followers globally, but they wanted educational content that is fun for their kids, which they would look forward to watching. And also he plays Roblox. You can see him here. He's created his own hotel, because why would you not? But they want to build things. They want to be creative. I think it's also going to be one of the most creative generations on the planet, basically, very soon. So I also asked the group of girls, if you could design a new technology for work, what would you do and why? So this is how they envisage their future work life like.
But like, you come to work, like let's say you're just a worker and you have to fill in papers every day and it's so boring. You make a stick and it would move and you would tell it what to do. Kind of that involves a Siri, but the Siri can move the machine.
Hand.
It's kind of like a hand, yeah, a hand basically at the end, holding a pen, and it works for you. And you tell it what to do. So
I wanted to do that
you're
too.
You're kind of like doing the work, but you're not exactly doing it.
Okay. Cool.
Maybe like on the computers, if you have a job where you have to be on the computers the whole day, make the computer screen darker. So it's better for your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe like, I don't know.
Well, maybe more talking.
Oh yeah, social.
So I thought 3 aspects really interesting here. So, well, the first thing is invent a hand that does the work for me. So that's basically AI. AI is going to take away the laborious jobs and going to make things much more efficient and effective. So you can socialize and talk to people and be creative and do the exciting things. I think that's the future they're they're seeing for themselves, and it's happening. They're going to have different jobs. And also, Liv was saying there, a screen that's darker, so it's better for your eyes. So they're concerned about their health. They're thinking about that already. And that leads me on to my next topic, positivity and health. Positive content is key for Generation Alpha. So their favorite streaming service is Disney+. And Disney+ has published a report that says 33% of young teenagers and tweens watch TV shows that makes them dance, that they can dance to. So music-driven entertainment, very in. Also, 27% of Gen Alphas watch cooking shows. So they're constantly learning, but in an entertaining way. As I said, Roblox, Minecraft, these are all games where they're actually building something, where they're being creative. But also the older part of Generation Alpha, certainly the 15, 13-year-olds, they lived through COVID. And through COVID, they learned that they were learning online, they were on computer screens a lot, and it was encouraged that they meditate and relax as well. So there's a lot of meditation podcasts out there for Gen Alpha, and they actively take that on board as well. So they're more educated about their health already. Most of them have probably a Fitbit and know how many steps they've taken by the time they're 6 or 7 years old. It goes as far as primary schools now banning digital watches, because otherwise they're just comparing the step count or whatever you can do as well. But this is basically what's the norm for them. And this, I thought, was an interesting example of a collaboration between Gimlet Media. They produce podcasts. They are based in Brooklyn. It's a US story. And Procter & Gamble and their American toothpaste brand Crest. They created a 2-minute entertainment podcast called Chumpas. And you can play it on the Alexa, only in America. It doesn't work here. I tried. And you say, play Chumpas. And for 2 minutes, you hear some jokes and some entertainment. And that's exactly already you're starting the dialogue and conversation with Generation Alpha. Sustainability, I think they're going to be the most sustainably educated generation on the planet because they're raised by millennials, where eco-solutions are important more to millennials than to other generations, but then also Generation Z, who took it one step further. So they expect drastic, sustainable solutions. I think 46% of teens are loyal to brands that take bold climate actions. But also they have a wider equality awareness. For instance, last week my daughter had to create a presentation about Romeo and Juliet with a group of her classmates, how they were doing that, of course, on Google Slides and via Zoom in the afternoon, not in the classroom. Why would you? So every afternoon she was on her Zoom meeting, and they had to create a cast of actors for Romeo and Juliet. And at the beginning of the week, that cast wasn't very diverse. And then I asked to see the final presentation on Friday. I said, oh, show me what you've done. And that looked very different. I said, oh, why did you change that? We felt it didn't represent us. So we had to make it more diverse. So that really shows that they're thinking about it already 11 years old. 1/3 of Gen Alpha focuses on equality, and it comes more natural to them. I mean, we will see what happens on that topic with what is happening in America and what impact that will have on the youngest of the Gen Alphas. But from what I can see so far, the awareness is definitely there. And here I thought was a really good collaboration from Lego. Lego has it easy as a brand to engage Gen Alpha, I agree, but they have a fantastic story about building the change. So they collaborated with Pharrell Williams, That Which Makes You Different Makes You Special, where he talks about his life, about his learning difficulties. There's a whole movie about it. I think even a Lego set that you can buy. And also they collaborated with the Natural History Museum. I'm going to play a little video there about creating sustainable solutions and involving Gen Alpha in the solutions already.
Build the Change is the LEGO Group's flagship sustainability program. It basically engages children in real-life sustainability challenges, and it invites them to come up with their solutions as well as to share them with the world.
We're immersing people in a sustainability topic, how to save today's dinosaurs. So birds are a group of dinosaurs that evolved from small feathered dinosaurs that lived in the Jurassic period.
We're building a robot that plants trees.
Everything that we do together is about inspiring the builders of tomorrow to learn about the natural world through play.
We put children at the very core of everything that we do. We're all about inspiring them, engaging them on matters that pertain to sustainability.
Unlocking their imaginations through play to be able to really think about some of the solutions to those problems is going to be key to a future where people and planet thrive.
I think it's important to learn through play because so many great ideas come from just being creative.
I'll plant more trees for like the birds.
It's going to be a safe place for birds, basically.
We want to foster children's love for sustainability topics, and we believe that children's ideas should be heard.
Learning about nature and supporting nature through science and across society is how we're going to basically tackle the planetary emergency. So seeing the incredible ideas today has given me hope because everyone in these sessions was putting nature first.
What a great initiative, great collaboration, great storytelling, brand storytelling. And the kids, they will remember that. And the last but not least, the fifth topic was purpose, relevance, driving real change. More than 30% of Gen Alpha say they want to make a difference growing up to help people and the planet. So that continues to be important for Generation Alpha. And they're looking for that, particularly also when they're looking for their future employer. So that leads me to say, so what is the future of work? What's going to look like? Well, as I mentioned, STEM, huge focus. We have more educational toys around that, but also by 2030, there will be 10% more STEM-focused jobs out there, but also Generation Alpha is more STEM educated. 2 in 3 Gen Alphas will have jobs that don't exist yet, so that's driven by technology, by AI. And they will continue to develop the gig economy that sort of started with millennials and has become really big with Generation Z. But what that means really is flexibility. Gen Alpha will continue to work more independently following Gen Z because they can, because it's easy. They will have multiple careers and they constantly upskill as well. So we can already see how easy it is to learn a new skill, to go to a coding class from Apple. So they constantly look for new input because they've been doing that all their life. And that's what entertainment looks like for them at the moment. And they're also going to switch employers more easily. So what can we learn from what I've talked through today? I think storytelling has never been more important. Brand storytelling, having an employee focus, getting the employees involved, and we've seen examples of that today. And the whole experience, how is it going to be like working for you? How is it going to be like in a day-to-day experience? And you can engage Gen Alpha already now, and some brands are doing that. This is a cap from a Mercedes-Benz factory tour. In the summer in Germany, Mercedes-Benz invites children for a day to their factories. And they show them how cars are made and also how their industry is changing. We're switching to electric cars because it's better for the environment. And then at the end of the day, the kids are invited to design their own car. Absolutely fantastic. And you get a neon yellow cap at the end of it. But I think that's kind of like already starting the conversation. Invite them in. Positive storytelling via your employees, as we saw, podcasts, this is something, or YouTube videos, this is something where Gen Alpha already hangs out. And then collaborations, as Lego has done. I think the Pharrell Williams one is fantastic as well, and the Natural History Museum one as well. So these are just some ideas of how we can already, or you as brands can already engage with Gen Alpha now. And last but not least, one fact about Gen Alpha, they really, really, really want to become famous. I want to be a YouTube star. I want to be an influencer. I mean, that we cannot take away from them. It feels like it's so easy to be famous and it's so great. So yeah, wanted to leave you with that thought. How can you make them famous? But yeah, I hope that was informative. And yeah, feel free to email me or chat to me if you have any further questions.
Fabulous, thank you. Has anyone got any questions? I know I've got a few questions. Anyone in the audience got a few questions? Pia, one of the things, my eldest is a teacher and has been teaching for 15 years, and a large part of that in the SEN area. And one of the things that has come out from COVID, this is the damaged generation. It seems to me from everything that she tells me, 1 in 4 of kind of Gen Alpha coming through, 11 to 15-year-olds now have mental health or identify with mental health issues and so on. What's going to be the implication for that for organisations, do you think, in the workforce? How are they going to be able to? Are they going to need to be able to respond to that? Is this going to be an issue?
Yeah, I think it's also because we're more aware of mental health issues, we talk more openly about it. And I think it's this open dialogue that needs to happen. You know, it doesn't need to be limiting. Let's talk about it and let's have that open conversation, as we saw earlier. You know, sharing stories of employees that are in the same situation and how they've handled it. I think that's the right step forward.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? We've got a couple over here. Fantastic.
Hi, I'm Tina from Volcoil. So I work for a construction company, and one of the big things that's our focus is bridging the skills gap. Predominantly our employees who work and build rail are 50 plus. So we have teams now that they just spend their time day in, day out going to schools, talking to children. So I suppose maybe a two-part question. The first one is, what are you seeing schools doing now? Because usually it's teach them this, but the actual career paths available, there's so many that teachers and schools don't know about. So my first question is, do you know if there is anything coming to help them or areas we can say to schools, come here? But then the second one is, we do go out and we present because that is our style, you know, we're a construction company. But what ideas you have that we can feed back today and say, actually, this generation Alpha, rather than a PowerPoint slide and a picture, this will help engage more to try and get them to think of rail as a future, because if we don't do it now, we won't have the workforce to build on it.
Yeah. Totally agree. I would say, I mean, what schools are doing, schools are more focused on what happens after school. I think that has definitely developed a lot. But again, there's so much. It's a huge jungle out there. But collaborating with schools, I think, is great. Coming out there, engaging them, but also, as I said, inviting them in. Come and spend a day with us during the summer holidays. I think what's also great is apprenticeships or internships, summer internships, while they're still at school. I think there's, in the last years, there's a week which they need to spend at a company to get the experience. I don't think a week is enough, but I mean, I do that in our agency. I try to collaborate with the closest school that I can find and invite kids in who are interested to work in the creative industries. So I would, those are definitely things. And then the storytelling on YouTube and podcasts, and because that's where they hang out and where they find engaging stories. And they're like, oh, I want to find out more.
One of the things that interested me looking at the presentation there was that there's so much talk of the way that they are just playing with interesting stuff, educational stuff, and so on and so forth, but it's a lot more advanced. We saw earlier on a sort of communication to the internal audience through gamification. We kind of cover gamification. My thoughts are that whilst that might be fine with the majority of employees, this Gen Alpha, the current crop of most gamification that we see is kind of Sims circa 2012 kind of thing. Are Gen Alpha just going to be patronised by that? Do we need to really raise the game in terms of gamification if we're using that as an internal comms tool?
Well, they do like a retro game, and I think. Well, I think they're going to be fine with it, but raising the game is certainly something that's going to be important. Yeah.
Okay, I saw another hand here.
So at the moment, obviously, we have an employer-employee relationship where a lot of the power is with the employer, because employees have only one source of income by and large. That is changing with the gig economy, and what you've said is Gen Alpha, you're expecting them to have maybe side hustles becoming completely normal.
Yeah.
What does that mean in terms of the culture that employers implement? Because obviously, if you want such and such a culture, but everyone says, well, I'm not working for you then you will have to make a change, surely.
Yeah. That's an interesting question. I mean, I think that's something that's definitely going to be more important to support the employee in terms of the growth they want to experience, but maybe they want to have a side hustle. Maybe they're really smart and want to set up their own company on the side. So there's a great example of the city of Wolfsburg and Volkswagen. So Volkswagen comes from Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg is not the most exciting city to live in Germany, I'm going to say, yeah? And Volkswagen needs to change from employing engineers to IT specialists, and they're competing with Silicon Valley. So where do I want to move when I'm a really smart IT specialist? Silicon Valley or Wolfsburg? Yeah? So they collaborated with the city of Wolfsburg to make it more exciting for young talent to come there. And they went on to bandwagon of the gig economy. So there's a huge startup hub in Wolfsburg now, which is sponsored by Volkswagen. And if you work for Volkswagen, you can have a side gig and a startup in that, and it can be sponsored by Volkswagen as well. So they have worked with the city to make it more attractive for young talent to go there. But Volkswagen has opened up and said, look, if you work for us, we're supporting you if you want to work more flexible and also have your own company or your own consultancy or what you want to do on the side. So I thought that was a good example. Interesting.
Okay, any more questions? I think we need to wind up this session. Thank you very much, Pia.
Thank you.